stand over there if you need slots, but if you do, you're more than welcome. Who's got the first question? When you're ready, everyone.
Steve, how much did Ngani's performance on Tuesday night seal the deal?
Yeah, very much so. Like, he played very, very well, and he didn't have too many options after watching him play, did he? So he just continued the form that he had in Super Rugby into what was a level above that, playing an international side and a good international side of that, and it was a wonderful game, and he contributed to it a lot. So made it pretty simple.
What makes you confident that if things went to hell in a handcart, that he could go and play another 75, 80 minutes if need be?
Oh, he's a fit player and he's recovered well, and we've done, we've got a lot of faith in our wellbeing group who drive that side of it. So if he needs to go another 80, 70, 79 and a half minutes, then he will.
Does he cover any other positions on the bench aside from second five?
Midfield, he'll cover midfield.
Right, so both positions. Thank you.
Steve, his power game is really obvious. What else do you like about him? Sort of subtle skills does he have?
Well, he's quick. That's subtle, but he's quick, and he's got nice offloads in the tackle, and he's not a complete package yet, but he's got a mental fortitude to play in the big moments, and he scores a lot of tries. So again, I don't know if that's subtle, but it's handy.
Is it a straightforward decision at wing and fullback?
Pretty much. We had to go through the process of thinking, do we make a change at 10 and play Beauden at fullback, or do we make the change at wing and play Izzy at fullback? And at the end of the day, we wanted Beauden to steer the ship at 10, and so it became a no-brainer.
I take it you've seen this vision of Marco Vunipola taking out Anton Lienert-Brown by a ruck.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
It's just something that happens in the game, and Vunipola will probably look at it and think I was a bit stupid, but move on. We've got another game coming up.
Yeah, considering your player's integrity was called into question, do you see a touch of hypocrisy there?
It's not like you guys are having a field day at the moment between Gats and I, so I'm not feeding that.
What have you made of some of the cup thrust this week, regards Warren and regards the Lions?
Look, I think you're alluding to the cartoon.
In a roundabout way, yeah.
You may as well just go straight at it. So it makes it easier to answer the question. I think it's really disappointing. It's one thing to have a bit of banter and then you guys beef that up to make it bigger than it really is. Like, I've heard you say that I don't like him, and we won't have a beer up. Look, I've got a lot of respect for him. I think he's a good coach. I've got a lot of respect for the Lions, and they're a good team. So, but to come out and do that, I think you're ridiculing somebody that doesn't deserve it. And at the end of the day, we're all coaches trying to do what we think's right. Sometimes people don't always agree with what we do, but that's okay. You're allowed to have your opinion too. But to ridicule someone's not right. So, a bit disappointing.
Are you surprised today that they've delayed their team naming until after you've had this session?
I don't know if that's why they've delayed it. They probably delayed it because they want everybody to be in the room like we've got today, and that's their right. So I don't have a problem with that.
Steve, are you frustrated that the HANSEN v Gatland thing has taken on, so much importance this week?
Well, it hasn't taken any importance in our camp, and it's only you guys feed it, so you'll choose to do whatever you want with it. And but at the end of the day, it's about two teams playing a test match. Last test was a beauty, and with a little bit more luck and a little bit more finish, they could have easily won the test match. They know that, and they'll be coming here with a do or die attitude, and we've got to front up Saturday. It's okay doing it once, we've got to do it again, and so it's going to be real hands to the pump, so to speak, and everyone's going to have to step up. If we don't step up, we'll get second.
Steve, what do you expect from the Lions team today?
Look, I think he's got two options, and they're both obvious. Leave it the same or change it, but I think he'll probably look to make some changes. What those changes are, we'll have to wait and see, but there's some pretty obvious ones in the locking area. He might look to change there. Does he play Sexton and Farrell? We've talked about that before on previous occasions. I don't know what else he'll do, but the big thing that they'll look to change, I think, is the breakdown. They want to be a lot more competitive in there. I think they went in with the mindset that we'll only put one person in and have everybody else on their feet, so they can get their line speed. So that will force some thinking in their camp, and this is why coaches love coaching and players love playing, because it's cut and thrust, and what are they going to do and what are we going to do in response, or what are we going to change? They're sitting there thinking, will they do the same thing as last week? And I guess we'll have to wait and see what we will do, but it's about reacting to and adapting to that too in the moment.
Anything about their selection change how you go about things?
A lot of what we do is based on what the opposition will do. Just, in fact, everything in attack. It's a principle I learned a long time ago as a young player off my father. The opposition give you all the options from what they do on defence, and that hasn't changed. So whatever team they pick is a small part of that. So how they use that team to defend and what type of defence they use will depend on what we do. And we can't, again, we use the ABCs. We can assume some things, believe nothing. And then when we get out there, we'll confirm it, and we've got to play what's in front of us and play that well.
Steve, do you think the team that they could select for the second test could make them a harder opposition to play than in the first test?
Look, every Lions team, when it's got the talent that they've got at their disposal, is going to be hard to beat. It just comes down to who plays well enough on the day. And we've got a talented side. If we prepare well, really genuinely bone deep, then we're hard to beat. And they're no different. Like, they've got plenty of good players. How they choose to play with that talent will be the interesting thing.
Warren's spoken about how you played off 9 very successfully. Do you now have to second guess whether they'll look to shut that down and you go into this game to play something else, or is it going to be more of the same?
Yeah, well, I thought that's what I tried to explain before, but obviously he's going to second guess what we do. So are we going to play off 9 again? And then we have to second guess, if we play off 9, is he going to shut that door? And if they shut the door, then what other door have they just opened? Because you can't do everything. That's the beautiful thing about our game. It's all about space, and if you can find it, then you're in business. But first of all, you've got to go forward. So there's going to be a tremendous battle there, isn't it? Because they'll be a little wounded from last time out, and they'll want to prove a point up there. So, as I said to you right from the beginning, we have to be on song ourselves if we're going to win this game.
Do you expect the Lions to be in the same kind of mental state as you were post that defeat in Chicago going into that next game against Ireland?
What type of mental shape are we in there, mate?
You were determined to make up for that loss, I guess, which is...
We're determined to win all the time. And I think if that's what you're saying, then I'm sure that's definitely be the mental state they're in. They'll be determined to win, and they've said that already. And you wouldn't expect anything else from them, because quality teams don't lie down. They stand up and they get counted, and losing hurts. It sucks. It's not a great idea, and it comes with a lot of pain. So you don't want to do it, and especially when you're a quality team, and because you're not used to it, you don't want it. So, as I said, I think they'll come with everything they've got, and we need to be prepared for that and bring everything we've got to match it.
Yeah, Steve, you expect the Lions to commit a couple of players to protect 9 and 10, given the Warren's thoughts on the game from last week?
Look, every team protects their halfback. If they don't, then you get to charge the kick down, or you get to tackle them. So if they think that they're vulnerable to being tackled or charged down, I'm sure they'll put people there to protect them.
And secondly, vice captain for you guys.
That's a good question. I haven't thought about that yet. I'll let you know.
Where's being at, Steve? Could he be
Try
ready?
Dunedin.
Sorry?
He's down at Dunedin.
Could he be ready for next week?
Well, even if he was, we wouldn't be playing. We've decided already, regardless of how we go through the protocols, that we won't play him next week.
Have your long-term concerns been allayed, or are they still?
Yeah, long-term concerns have been laid, but we're just going to take our time with him and get him back where we need him to be. So he's comfortable, we're comfortable, and it's too important for him and for us in the game to chuck him back out when we, it's just not worth it.
So is that because he's had the 3 knocks this year?
It's because he's had this one.
Of this one.
This one. It's not any more severe than if he passes the protocols, he could play, but we're just of the opinion that he's had a couple, so let's just be a little bit conservative and not play. He doesn't know that yet, but he'll ball after you.
Steve, there's also vision doing the rounds of Marco Vunipola grabbing Owen Franks by the testicles in a scrum. Are you aware of that, or any comment on that?
No, he hasn't talked about it, so the vision might not be right. Look, there's no point dragging stuff up. What happens on the park is adjudicated by. There's a guy who is connected to the ref. They're doing a pretty good job, I think, of making the game a lot cleaner than it was in yesteryear. We've got sighting commissioners now, and if they don't see it, then just move on. And it's a hard game we play, and there's going to be times when people unintentionally step over the line and do something that they might regret later. But and that's been happening for ages. You only have to look at what happened in the game on Tuesday night, like Henderson and someone else. But it was very reminiscent of what happened to Brian O'Driscoll. And I'm just pleased he just got a yellow card and nothing else, because that's all. Look, he didn't do that intentionally, but in the heat of the moment, he hasn't. His skills at the breakdown to clean him out haven't been right. So he's paid the price. He's got 10 minutes in the bin and move on from it. I don't know any rugby players that we've played against or I've coached that intentionally go out to hurt anyone.
Stephen, in the past you have had a philosophy not to cite opposition players in games. Is that still the case in this series? Leave that to the
Yeah, leave it. There's a guy that does that. That's his decision to make. That's what he gets. I'm assuming he gets paid. He wouldn't do it for nothing, I don't think. So that's his job. And rugby's a big boys game. Played by big boys and people with character. And if you thought something was intentional, then you would. But there's a lot of things that happen that aren't, as I said before, that happen in the heat of the moment that aren't, and they're definitely not intentional. So there's a process, and let the process work its way through.
Is that maybe a word that needs to get lost from the rugby vocabulary, intent? Because I don't think any professional player would go out to intentionally injure an opposition player. Is there maybe some rewording that needs to come into that particular rule or that interpretation?
No, because there might be some idiot out there who does have intent, so you can't remove it. But I think when we get emotionally involved in it as coaches and players, then we've got to just take a big breath and say, hey, really, is this the type of bloke that would intentionally do that, or is this the type of team that would do that? And then I think you guys and ladies have to take a wee breath too and say, look, I know that wasn't right, but are they a team who intentionally would do that, or are they emotionally in a place where they've just made a mistake? And then I think a lot of the drama that comes with some of these incidents would actually calm down a bit, and we'd get them dealt with in a better way.
Steve, Eddie Jones is in town, I understand. I know you're busy, but have you met up
Yeah, he's already texted me to say he's coming, so I'm going to catch up with him. He's a good man. So.
Bit of pre-sparring before next year?
You guys created that. I sit back and I laugh. Like I read somewhere where I lashed out at Warren Gatlin. I haven't lashed out at Warren Gatlin at all. And as I said before, I've got a lot of respect for him. Looking forward to having a beer with him and a chuckle about life. And we've got a lot of common interests. He likes racing horses, so do I. He coaches Wales. I've been through that experience myself. So it's the media that ramp it up because it sells you guys newspapers, and who am I to say to stop it? But I do look at it and think, well, that's actually not how it went. So in the case of Eddie, he's a character. He's a good man. He's got plenty of banter in him, and he enjoys it. And I quite enjoy reading it. So doesn't mean to say I don't like him.
Steve,
ask a couple of questions.
Steve, did Aaron pay the price for not nabbing Liam Williams in the 22, and then he went on to score that try in the selection this week?
I think there's a couple of other people who didn't nail him either, starting with the Skip. He's the first guy to miss the tackle. He's playing. And Sonny tried to tackle him, but I think he might have been blocked. But, no, it's got nothing to do with that. It's all about who we wanted in the driver's seat at the beginning of the game and where we want to go later in the game.
Steve,
last question. Thanks, Gavin.
Would you see it as a small victory for your side if the Lions do go in a different direction for Saturday in terms of the way they try and play?
I think they'll try and play rugby because they were successful at it. So if they're successful at it again, I won't see it as a small victory. I'll see it as a major loss because we haven't improved that side of our game. If we can make them change how they defend, I think that's a small win for us as long as we take advantage of it. If we don't take advantage of it, then again it's a win to them. So it's going to be a great game. I'm really looking forward to it. I love these types of test matches because they really challenge you as a coaching group and as a team. And I'm sure when you all head over to talk to Warren, he'll say the same thing. So look forward to it. Just hope that the weather looks after us a bit. We don't get too much rain, or any would be good. But if we do, we'll have to adapt and adjust to that. But it's got all the earmarks, I think, of being another great test, and that's what we're here for. But our game is way more important than all of us, and if we can produce a game that has ebbs and flows in it, we get more people excited about watching it, more people involved in it, and our game stays alive. So that's going to be a big part of what we do, isn't it? It's not just about winning a game of rugby, it's about making sure the game itself is looked after and enhanced.
Thanks everyone. On that note,
thank you.